Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to Drawing with Michael. I am, of course, your host and artisan, Michael. Today, continuing on my quest to do 31 days of Harry Potter characters. Of course, I've already missed one day. My apologies for that, little family issue. But today, we'll be doing another character by the name of Delores Umbridge. She's... I'm not going to go into the minutia of who she was in terms of a character, just because, you know, I don't want Harry Potter people to freak out, but she was a stinker. She was very interested in herself, and preserving her presence in that particular universe. And as such, she's got a kind of a conniving way about her. You know, I've known a lot of people in this world that are very self-preserving, and she reminds me a lot of those people. And I'm trying to get my gesture right here. In a lot of the photographs, she's standing holding her wand in such a way that looks like, you know, she's about to take you downtown, so to say. But yeah, she was a stink pot. You know, she was trying to make sure that she was on the side of power, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out well for her. Anyway, so basically, whenever I'm creating a whole character, not just a profile, I'm still thinking shape language. And Delores had a very, how do I put it? She was an interesting woman. Just, you know, if you look at her, I can pull up my reference here, you know. Let's see if it'll pull it. Delores Jane Umbridge. Yeah, she's like sweet and innocent, but when it really comes down to it, she'll cut your throat. Right? Here you go. So, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, Umbridge. So, hopefully you guys have been doing your due diligence to create your 31 days of drawings. You know, I had mentioned this before to my students. Today's actually teaching day, so I had to stay up late. For those of you who watch my channel and don't know, I am a toy designer, professional illustrator, so I teach at the local college illustration, you know, illustration and photography. And what I always iterate to them in terms of understanding how this business works is it is unpredictable sometimes, and a lot of times what you have to realize as an artist, especially if you're working on licensed goods or, you know, stuff that needs to be manufactured. You know, I talk about this in class, in fact, that in the illustration world, you know, you're working for money. I haven't landed yet in the world of fine art where I could just do a couple paintings, maybe 2 paintings a year, 3 paintings a year, and sell them for, you know, $40,000 and $50,000. I can't, you know, I'm not there yet. Yet. So, you know, I have to work whenever the work comes my way. So last night, of course, or yesterday, I got wind basically that a project needed to really go forward, even though we hadn't determined a lot of the parts on it and manufacturing, and at the end of the day, I had to stay up late last night and I had to work, which I don't mind doing most of the time, but after I've had a long day, and I had a very long day yesterday working, so, you know, to go back and, you know, after I put the kids to bed, It's like having a job that, you know, you're always on call for. And I guess doctors have the same thing. Of course, I don't get paid like a doctor. But, and I'm not saving lives. At least that's what they think, that sometimes that what you do is as important as saving lives, but that's ridiculous. I mean, but it has to do with their livelihood too. So you have product developers that, you know, their livelihood depends on your ability to get things done in a manner that is accurate but also quick. And sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. You know, art's one of those very fickle, finicky things that a lot of times it takes time. You know, it takes time, and I understand, you know, manufacturing process. I understand that, you know, there's a deadline. I understand all that. But sometimes it's just, gosh, it's just so hard. See, I'm gonna keep trying to flip this around and do an eraser. This, by the way, I'm using a color erase carmine red. I wanted to use carmine red because I want to put a base pink in here. And the blue just didn't really match up with what I was doing. So I've got an extender on here because this was one of my only pencils left for carmine red. So I'm sketching really light because I want to get this gesture right. You know, the nuances of this character are really significant, and I don't want to go in with a heavy hand and start messing things up early. You know, she's smiling, so whenever you smile, your cheeks go up, right? These go up, and this kind of bows out just slightly. Again, this goes up because the mouth is coming up like this. You know, it's wide, comes up like this. And again, you have the cheek that comes up, and this comes up like that. Okay. I've already drawn the eye socket, very light. So now what I'm doing is I'm just fleshing out these eyes in the correct proportion. She's got these eyelashes. You know, kind of just think like 1950s, I don't want to say 1950s housewife, but she kind of does. She kind of has that demeanor to her, that prim and proper, you know, she's going to dress to the nines. I can even look at her, and especially the character in the context of the story, and I can smell the perfume that she's wearing, right? It's got that grandma. You know, she's gonna bake you some cookies, but then she's gonna slice your throat, right? So that comes all the way across. That long mouth line comes here, right? And what I'm doing is, and now she's got a little bit of I like to call it cushion. She got a little cushion on her. She's not fat, but she's it's like she's hiding something, right? You look at her and she's hiding. She's got things going on, right? So I'm going to bring this around here. Put this eye in really quick. But she definitely, and I keep checking the other eye for placement of this pupil. I don't want her to be mean. That's not right. And the thing is, what makes this character so dynamic, and I love the way they designed this character, is the fact that she is dressed the way she is. She's dressed very sweet, and I remember watching the movie and just thinking, she's one of the strongest characters in the entire, because she's got this, you know, demeanor to her, that dichotomy of design, you know, where you look at it and you're like, oh, you're going to be nice. No, you're not. You're going to basically hurt me. But she's out there basically for herself. And whatever it takes for her to get there is what she'll do. Right? So again, you know, she's got kind of curly hair. And I talked earlier in some of my earlier drawings, and I talked about gravity and how you really need to think about gravity whenever you do certain things such as hair. You know, gravity's going to pull, so this curl isn't going to be stiff, it's going to be weighted at the end. So you have this nice bounciness up here, right, that comes up, and then this comes around, and it's going to be weighted at the bottom. Maybe a little bit thicker at the bottom. And it comes around. And two, you know, even though you can't really see it, the shape of her hairline, it comes up, it comes around, right? And you're going to have this hair bob. And it's like a sock. It's like a bob. Whenever you have a, like if you were to take hair that's been hairsprayed or teased, and you do this to it, it's going to bob. And that bob right there, that resting state, you know, whenever it comes down, it's going to have weight at the bottom. Right? So we want this to come around, and that comes out a little bit, and then it's got that weight right there. And then this right here, her chin's going to come up a little bit forward, and I've got that eye that comes up, a little bit of hair that comes around, it breaks that shape right there inside the hairline. This comes around right here, shade this in slightly. Okay, again, this will be the highest point right here. Okay, so now we come here, right here. And a lot of times too, you guys, it's that feeling of how things are. You know, we have to, okay, so I'm going to come here, I'm going to have that hairline go here, I'm going to have it come around. There we go. So you look at her, and she's got a sweet demeanor to her. But the reality is, you cannot trust this woman. You cannot trust her at all. And here's... Okay, so now we come here. And two, it's important you guys always remember in terms of construction, you know, even though this is a very rough gesture, she's got, you know, she's got her coat on that has these cuffs, right? So I'm going to have these come here in this line, and then I'm going to have a fold here and a fold here. Then I've got this inside part, and you have that draw through. And the same thing happens over here, that draw through. I'm not going to give her, like, she doesn't have huge boobs. That's the thing. You know, we're going to give her a little indication with these lines that she is indeed a female and not some creature from an alternate universe. She might be, though. Here. Okay, so my least favorite part coming up, which are the hands. Still struggle with hands, guys. Just one of those deals that, you know, even though I've been doing this a while, and again, you know, I talked about gravity too. Gravity's going to pull on this, so I'm going to come like this. But you have to remember, you know, there's certain little things that you have to think about, like the thickness, like we're going to have the thickness of this coat's going to come down, right? It's going to be thicker at the bottom because it tapers up, right? Because that gravity's pulling it, and the way that the fabric is designed, okay? If I want to, I can even give maybe an indication of some type of sewing fabric pattern, right? You got these, I don't know what these are called, but she's very modest. She's not going to be showing a lot. Okay. Nice. Here. Okay. So now I'm going to take this. So I've got this arm that comes here. Right? Then I've got her hand that wraps under. And here's the meat. Her wrist is here. Here's the meat. Here's her finger. This wraps under. This wraps under. Right? And then we're going to have this finger kind of... See, I told you I struggled with hands. She's going to have nails. She has her nails done. And again, what we're doing is I'm just placing in, maybe her wand comes here, right? And it stretches all the way up, and it's got this little jewel on it. So here's the jewel, and here's her finger that has the nail on it. Right? Here's that finger that comes down. Maybe she has a ring. Okay. There's the fabric. Maybe a little pocket right here. Right here. Here, that line that comes down. Right. Over. Here's that line again, indicating some type of chest area. Okay, so now okay, so I'm going to erase this slightly because I've moved this over, this fabric part, just a little bit too far. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this here. Okay, so we have that here. Here's the end of her wand. Right? Okay, here's her finger. It's going to come here. 1, 2, 3. And her thumb comes like this. So 1. Here. Right? We're going to have that fabric come here. That's the coat. And that's kind of shaped wrong. So I need to go here because it goes up. Here's the coat. Here's the bottom part of the coat. Kind of breaks that plane just slightly. And we're going to adjust this out. Here's her fingers. Oh, I need to sharpen my pencil. Put that pattern on here again. Comes around. Small correction there. Comes up. Now what we're going to do is just define these fingers just slightly. See, this comes up, this comes around. Okay. Not my best. Telling you, man, you can't trust this woman. She will cut you, she will slice you up, and she will feed you to the centaurs. Right? So I think what I'm going to do for you guys this morning as I progress through this, because I'm going to do some corrections here and there. Maybe this pocket, I don't really like this pocket. I don't know, maybe. Is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on time lapse for the ink. And then we'll do a simple wrap up at the end. I think her legs are too big. Right? I think they're just a little bit too big, so we'll abbreviate those. She got this little heel on. Right? Comes around here. This comes down and over. There's the strap. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to do, is put you guys on the time lapse so you can enjoy the process without not, having to wait. Did a really simple sketch last night on Adobe Fresco. I'm still finding my way in that program. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Download it for free on your iPad. I think they will be having it available on the Surface devices, and I will definitely do a review once it lands on the Surface devices, because you guys know me, I love my Surface. Pretty much, I love any tool. Oop, that's a tangent. I love any tool that helps me do my job. And the Surface is definitely one that I enjoy. I like drawing on it. Love the iPad. I've got two that I utilize. I've got a 10.5. I think that's a 6th generation. And then, of course, I've got the new iPad 12.9 as well. Wonderful devices. Definitely a different drawing experience. Here we go. Mouth. Right there. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to go ahead and put you on time lapse for inking, and we'll do a simple wrap up on the other side. Okay? Okay, so I've got the ink lines down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in my local color, which is this Copic RV04. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to just start, putting in what I like to do with Copic markers, because they're alcohol based and it's a blending marker, is even though it's just local color, just to reaffirm certain shadow placements, what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll put the shadows in first where I think the shadows are going to go, right? Like this bottom piece goes all the way across here like this. Now, since her arms are close into her like this, I'll go in and just do, little shadows here and there. And what'll happen is, whenever I go back here in just a second and I just start blocking in the color, using the same color, using the same marker, you'll notice those shadows will be just enough of an indication to help define the form a little bit better. Here, I'll show you guys in just a second as I get all this crap out of my way. Here, I'll show you. As I scratch my ear, sorry about that. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just block it in. And if you notice, look, that shadow is retained. So it's a nice little thing, because what happens is the more you dig in on these markers, the darker it will get. So her hand's kind of off of that a little bit. So there we go. And again, I stress this so many times, especially in the context of what I'm doing today. This is not a paid rendered piece, so I'm being very liberal, kind of willy-nilly with my marker lines. I'm not getting in there and worrying too much about going over. And ultimately, I think what we need to realize as, people that do this, is that actually adds to the, the texture of the piece, right? Going a little bit out of the lines, I think, is okay. We don't really have to stress about that. It's not something we need to go, oh crap, my life has ended. And two, when you're doing stuff like this, have fun, right? Yeah. See, I've got a little bit of an indication of shadow here and there. So now what I'll do is I'll go back just slightly on those areas that I already hit. So this will be the third time that I've hit them, right? So I'll put that in there a little bit darker. A little bit darker inside of here. And I'm using gray toned, which is not ideal because I wanted to use the tone, the tone paper as like a flesh tone. But I'm okay with it. That's fine. It actually, that mid-tone adds to the coolness of this pink. This isn't really a super warm pink. It's got a lot of purples and blues in it, right? Okay, so let's go here. We'll give a little bit of indication of shadow right there. We'll get shadow right there. Right, we'll come back here. We'll give that shadow right here. Shadow right here. as I blend in, come here. There we go. Okay. Magnification shadow right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to a little bit darker. See, I've got my reference right here for her pink. I guess that'll do. See, it's a little bit duller. A little bit darker. Yeah, perfect. Perfect! Now what I'll do is I'll just reconfirm those shadows. Maybe and have something like that. There we go. You know, even if I wanted to go so far as to do this, right? It adds to that texture of that lapel right there. You know, if I want to do that to the entire piece, I can. So we'll go ahead and just do a couple of these little shadows here and there to kind of redefine and make these a little bit darker. So I'll put you guys on time lapse again, because this will take probably 10 minutes. You see how much time I have left? Okay, so it'll probably take about 10 minutes to do it as I color in. And I don't want this video to be, see, this is what I'm going to do basically. I'm going to go in, and two, I know that this is a curved surface, so I've got to curve my line accordingly, right? Yeah, see how that goes? It adds so much, guys. It's just one of those deals where even the slightest, you know, little nuance and detail adds so much to the context of the piece, you know. And even if I'm looking at this outfit right here, weird. And it's kind of got a checkerboard pattern, so I might even go back. I don't know why I did that. Okay. I might even go back and mess around with the pattern on this, right? If it's like this, you know, she has that. Yeah. And I'm not being exacting, being playful. See, this gives it a little bit of life, and it's fast, and it's, you know, I'm not going in and just be like, this line needs to be here, this line needs to be here, this line needs to be here, and it adds to the flavor, right? So we're just going to go in, we're going to redefine some of these shadows a little bit better. I'm going to draw some of these out, paint some of these with the marker. Make it a little more defined, and just have fun. My lovely bride telling me she's on her way. Working out. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys on time lapse and let you watch the end process, and we'll do a wrap up at the very end. Okay, that pretty much wraps it up. So that is day 8 in the Inktober process. I put a little color to this one just to give it a little bit more life. Anyway, back to work for today. That's pretty much going to be it. I probably won't do anything else on this particular piece just because, you know, I want to keep with the status quo, and these pieces aren't supposed to be like really rendered or anything. So anyway, thank you guys for visiting the channel today. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. You know, I encourage you to get out there, create a little beauty for the world, right? Do something that you enjoy. If you haven't started Inktober, it's not too late. You know, I always think that you just do the best you can with what you got. You know, and at the very least, if you come up with one drawing for Inktober, I think that's better than 0. So, thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, and that's it. Bye.